Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Ready to turn up the heat on your competition and build an amazing brand that really matters to your customers? This is the Sharpen Your Knife Podcast. If your business is in a pickle or just need a bigger slice of the pie, then join these two peas in a pod, Kelly Fox and Scott Webb, with over 35 years of combined sales and branding experience, self-proclaimed foodies and marketing experts, as they discuss how you can incorporate the right mix of ingredients for your business, sweeten your sales, so you can truly profit from the world of customer lifetime value. Now, from the kitchen, here's your hosts and brand chefs, Kelly Fox and Scott Webb.
1, 2, 3. That's how I know where to start. Hey guys, Scott Webb here. I am the president and founder of Kitchen Traffic, and I am with my CEO and the co-founder, Kelly Fox. And
hello.
Kelly, here we are again, 10 o'clock at night, 10:13 to be exact, and we're making this a habit. So very interesting. Our late night, at least the kitchen's open late. You know, that's how I like to look at it. But we've got a great topic for you guys today because we're going to talk about the 3 types of people versus business. And are you one of these 3? Which is really interesting because I know your inbox is probably getting hit with one of these 3 type of people right now. But before we go into that, Kelly, I want to ask you, how's your day been?
It has been, actually today was much better than it has been probably for the past week. I finally think I've gotten a routine down. For those of you who don't know, I have a 4-year-old son, and I guess I didn't realize how much I've grown used to his routine and being at school or at grandma's. And now he is at home with me 24/7, as is my husband. And it's been interesting because I guess I kind of prided myself in working from home with a kid around for years, but I've been spoiled over this past year and realized that some of the tricks I used to have don't work anymore. And so I am now doubling as a preschool teacher, a CEO, a wife, a mom, and now a new imaginary friend that my son started telling me about this morning, which is creeping my husband out and a little strange for me, although my mother-in-law told me that it's a sign of high intelligence. So I'll go with that one.
Hey, look, if they do this, what do they call it? The government's trying to supplement households right now and write, everybody $1,000 check that's in your household. Yeah, absolutely list the imaginary friend. Yeah, I don't
know her name yet. Stay tuned.
Oh, very good. Stay tuned, guys, for our next episode. So that's amazing. And I know you're doing a great job because we stay in touch constantly in and out each day. And just so you guys know, I'm in a different part of Colorado than Kelly. We're in the Kitchen Traffic studios, and she's in her home in Centennial. So we're doing the co-working thing and trying to make the best of it. But interestingly enough, had just a crazy day today with some family stuff, and that's just what you have to deal with on top of everything else. And what I started to understand is really trying to, because it's like, man, this is the worst timing, right? So it's like all of a sudden you're like, well, why did they have to get sick? And it's like, well, that's not they didn't pick this date to get sick. And we have some family. I've got a mother-in-law that's going through some stuff with Alzheimer's and advanced Alzheimer's right now. So right now it's like, okay, we've got, this virus thing going. We've got the market and the economy, and now we have these family issues. But here's what I understand about everything in life is each one of these things is its own thing. Mm-hmm. And I think what a lot of times we do is we try and lump everything together. And so we deal with one way, we deal with the other way, and we deal with this one this way. And so I try to compartmentalize, but which is interesting, talking about family. So it's a perfect segue into our video tonight, because we're going to talk about 3 types of people and how they relate to your business. And are you one of these 3 types of people? because if you're like me and Kelly, we are getting I'm getting 100 emails right now. Most of them are hitting spam, but some of them are getting in my inbox, and I'm sure you guys are getting the same emails too. So,
man, I'm not looking forward to cleaning up my emails.
I know inbox zero. Inbox zero is not it's not a thing. So, as a company, as an organization, if you got hundreds or thousands of clients, are you guilty of being one of these three people? So we're going to knock out these three. I think it's really fun how we broke these down. And our third one, and we do this in David Letterman style, just so you know, we go 3, 2, 1. So the third person, which is the furthest one out, is our long lost cousin. So are you as a company acting like the long lost cousin? And Kelly, talk about what that long lost cousin looks like.
So as soon as you say long lost cousin, I just think of Cousin Eddie from National Lampoons.
I know. The 6-pack hanging from his belt buckle. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And he just pops in and out of your life with the RV that your neighbors can't stand seeing in front of your house. But I think it's really true. And we actually had a lot of fun with the long lost cousin because I think we've all experienced this in some way, shape, or fashion. So when it comes to that person, this is that Cousin Eddie that pops into your life every 4 years. He's that guy with the greatest idea ever. And I always loved this guy in corporate America. I was just telling Scott tonight that this is the person that would always call me. I was on a recorded line, and this person would always call me and say, "Hey, Kelly, I got a great idea. This is going to be just life-changing. This is just incredible. I couldn't wait to talk to you today." And usually that ended up being something that was completely against the rules and not allowed. And I always had to kind of let them down gently and let them know that that great idea could very well land them in jail. So that's not good. But this is that person, the greatest idea ever person, or the person that has like 100,000 patents that they have applied for.
Right. And they need the investor. They need you as the investor.
Yes.
But this guy, the long lost cousin, is that company that sends you that email about once every 4 years. Just kind of rolls into your inbox. The greatest idea ever. Or I like this one. We know in these unfortunate circumstances, right? So all of a sudden, you haven't heard from this company in 4 years, and now they act like they care.
Well, exactly. And that's another reason why the long lost cousin reaches out to you, right? Because they need money. They need money for you to invest in.
Hey, yes. Clark, you got some cash? Can I borrow $5,000? Could I borrow $5,000, please? And
maybe another grand just to help me float by.
Yeah, I gotta fill the RV up.
Yeah, exactly. So, and we run into this in businesses all the time too, right? All of a sudden you don't hear from someone, and then you can tell it's the end of the month. Those are my favorite. Act now. It's the end, and they don't mention it's the end of the month, but you can tell that they're trying to get their quota, or you've heard from them for the 10th time that week, and you check your calendar and it's the last week of the month, right?
Yeah.
So it's that person. And then the other one we were discussing was Ancestry.com DNA, that cousin, right? And so they want some very personal information that you're not really sure about giving up or sharing, or you really want it on a national database.
And how are we related?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm, Martha's brothers, nephews, third over cousin. I've been following you on Facebook for 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, this is the person that they send out the survey. Those are my favorite. They send out the survey, and then all of a sudden they're asking me some really detailed questions that I'm just like, no, I'm not going to share this information with you.
Well,
escape.
And unfortunately, these companies treat their customers just like a name in a database. So it's when something's, unfortunately, the pandemic, and it's like, it'd be a great idea to send out an email to everybody in our database, right? And that's all you are. You were a transaction. Maybe you weren't even a transaction. Maybe you were just a you signed up for something somewhere somehow, and now you're just naming the database. And there's a pandemic. Let's email everybody in our database. But like that long lost cousin, do you really care?
Did it add value to their life?
No.
Basically, that email only told me that you cared about me, blah, blah, blah. Here's our policy for a pandemic.
Yeah. And by the way, tucked at the bottom is the BOGO or the 40% off coupon. Yeah. Yes. I love it. Okay. So look, here's the thing. The majority of businesses out there, companies, large and small, are the long lost cousin. Let's be frank. But we know you guys are not, because our number 2, this is Kelly.
They know you, but do they care?
Right. So who is that in your family? And in my family, we thought that was my brother-in-law. So we can now correlate our business. Are we the brother-in-law to our customers, right? So let's talk about what that relationship looks like.
So the brother-in-law is just like any in-law, right? They do check in from time to time. They will ride or die when you need them, but they check in. They're not necessarily. It's not a daily conversation unless you're really close to your in-law. That's fine, but it's not a daily conversation. I would say the check-in, it could be monthly, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year is the norm.
Yeah, just
right?
A holiday or an anniversary or something.
Yeah.
So, or summer vacation, that's when I hang out with my brother-in-law the most, is they roll through Colorado every summer, and we have generally 2 weeks of just awesomeness together. And then we're always kind of checking in on each other, the rest of the year, but we're not integral in each other's lives. So, they don't necessarily know what I'm doing. I don't necessarily know what they're doing, but we have something cohesive and in common for sure. So interestingly enough, though, how we started this out, are you this brother-in-law? So are you the company that cares? And look, when you have 1,000 customers or 10,000 customers or 400,000 customers, we understand you cannot have just, a super integral relationship with every one of those customers. But there are ways that you can actually care, and you can do that at scale. But the thing is, are you willing to do that? Are you wanting to do that? We get that, and automation is the creme de la creme for a lot of companies. They want to just get into this AI, get everything's automated, and that's fine.
Everything's in the CRM, right? Everything's in the CRM. We're all good.
But even so, automation is fine. But act like you care. Act like you care with that automation. Does every single email have to be the same canned email? Are you segmenting your audience? Do you know who your top 10% customers are? Do you know who your middle base is? Do you know who the customers you haven't talked, that you're basically the long lost cousin to? So if you have lots and lots of customers, understand that there are ways that you can, like that brother-in-law, you can be integral in their life. So as a company, when's the last time you actually emailed your customer base, not with a coupon and not asking for a sale and not for a pandemic, right? So that would be one of those ways that you could be more like the brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. And we'll get to number 1 here in a second, but I just wanted to stress that even on social media, is everything you do coming out of the marketing department and it's just a canned, image with some canned text, or do you actually segment your audience in social media as well? It takes a little bit of effort. It takes a little bit more investment. It takes a little more resources. But I'm telling you guys, if you can develop your audience and nurture that audience into having as much of a relationship with them beyond the transaction, your sales are going to be there. And as always, us, we're the customer lifetime value company. That's what we do. And Customers for Life is thinking about your customers beyond just the spreadsheet, just the database, and just a P&L statement at the end of the month. So let's get to number 1. Drum roll.
An integral part of your life.
Yeah.
The spouse, you're married. It's a big deal. It's somebody that knows everything that's going on in your life, and not like overly personal from a business sense, but They are the people that know what's going on. They know that you have kids. They probably are the ones that reached out to you and knew that, oh, hey, you're probably working at home with kids around, and your husband's probably home too. How you doing? I have some resources for you that are working for me. Let me share them with you.
or working for our company, our employees as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, do you not know how to use Zoom? I've used it for the past 5 years. I'd love to take a few minutes just to go over it with you.
Right.
Just something as personal as that, especially if you are in a business development, key account, customer success type of role. This is important. And if you don't have this role in your company, you're missing out big time in serving your customers, not only today, but in the very near future and for years to come.
Yeah, for sure. And when you think about spouse, I just want to kind of frame that for everybody, especially if you're a larger company. It's like, oh my gosh, there's no way we could be married to our customers. And I get that because that's the knee-jerk reaction when we mention this. But when I'm mentioning spouse or being married, let's talk about lifelong relationships, because that's what generally why people get married, is they commit to one another. And so I'm just going to say this. The question is, are you committed to your customer? Right? Are you committed to be there beyond the sale, beyond the transaction? Or do you think that the marriage itself, the I do, was all that was needed? Are you doing anything to nurture your customers? Are you doing anything to show them appreciation? Just like being married to your wife or your husband or a significant other, if you had, if everything was the first year, the honeymoon, the I do, the honeymoon, and then that was it, you didn't really do anything beyond that, how long would that relationship last? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't. And when we talk customers for life, it isn't a moniker that we put on our website. It isn't a philosophy that we thought would be cool. It is essentially how you have to now start thinking about your customers. The days of infinite lines of new customers are gone. And now, after what we're going through with the economy and this coronavirus thing, you don't know what your customer base is going to look like on the other side. Is it going to be intact? Are you concerned enough about your customers like a spouse would be? Because if you hadn't heard from if your wife hadn't talked to you in 2 days, wouldn't you start thinking something's up? Now, I'm not saying you need to reach out and talk to your customers every day, but can you be there for them? Are you creating channels of communication that are open and honest and transparent? Or is everything through through some type of form that you go to the website, and that's the only way? And oh, by the way, somebody will be with you in 72 hours. And so what we're telling, look, I've worked inside a company that had 100,000 customers, and we created channels of communication so that we could listen to those people and then we could interact with them on a very quick basis, daily even. So I don't care how big your company is, technology now has afforded us the opportunity to be able to reach out and actually keep those lines of communication open to your customers on a daily basis, if you want it to. If you don't, hey, I'm going to tell you right now, some of the top companies in the world make it a priority to be able to communicate with their clients day in, day out, through social, through other channels, through their website, through text messaging. There's some very smart AI out there that's going on with bots, but these aren't just canned approaches. They're very systematic to the issue, to the problem the customer's having. So this goes way, way, way beyond customer service. This is, and here's the sad thing. I was reading a study today. They did a survey, and I'll pull this up for you guys too, but they did a survey and they interviewed like 90 companies, and the majority of them, 78%, thought their product was so good it was the service. So their product or service was the customer service. We're here to tell you, just because your wife said I do or your husband said I do, doesn't mean you can't stop working, what am I trying to say?
You can't stop working on your marriage.
You've
right?
got to continually be working on it. Yep.
You're not working in the marriage. You're working on the marriage.
As great as this is, I got this dad bod nailed. So as great as this thing going on right now, I still have to work out. I still need to stop eating junk food all the time because look, I want to impress my wife, right?
You trying? That's a good question. How many years have you been married?
30.
And I've been with my husband for 20 years. We'll be celebrating 14 years this April. And marriage is not easy. It takes a lot of work. And it's the same thing with your customers. It's not easy, but it takes work. And yet you will have conflict. You will have times where you drop the ball. You will have moments where you're just like, what in the world is happening? It's like the Twilight Zone is happening over here.
So let's.
But you still have to work at it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. So let's equate that to our customers, right? So right now, my wife is worried. She's like, "What do we do? What's going on? Are we getting locked down? Do we need to go to the store? Is our insurance up to date? Do we have enough groceries? I mean, just basic needs of life. Your customers are no different. And I just did a video today. Or yesterday, it got put out today, but with Greg Rowlett of ambitious.com in Florida. And we talked about leaders taking the lead right now. So, and for your company specifically, at least the brother-in-law is checking in, right? So
right.
At the worst, you guys need to be the brother-in-law in this scenario. The best is your spouse. Like, put them at ease. Let them know. Yeah, I can't answer my wife's questions. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or in 2 weeks. But what I can do is say, look, we have a plan, and this is what we're doing to mitigate, and this is what we're doing to try and be safe. So do you guys have a plan, and are you communicating that to your customers? If you're coming out and all you can lead with is buy this, buy that, discount. Oh, we understand there's a thing going on. So because of that, we're giving you 50% off. Mm-hmm. That's not what you do with your family. That's not what you do with your spouse. So hopefully, guys, these analogies set in a little bit. So in review, Kelly, what are the 3 types of relatives?
The 3 types of relatives are just you're the name in the database, right? The long lost cousin. So that's the third one. The second one is they know you, but do they care? That's the in-law or the brother-in-law example. And the third one is they're an integral part of your life, not your business. They're an integral part of your life. So they're like a spouse. It's like a marriage, and they know everything, and not in a creepy way, but they know everything enough to care.
Yeah. And so those are the 3 things. So guys, we totally understand that right now there's a lot of chaos going on, probably in your company and your organization. But stop for a second and reflect back on these analogies, and make sure, number one, you're not the long lost cousin. Strive to be a spouse to your customers right now. Strive to put them at ease. Strive to support them and build them up. Strive to be part of their life. Worst, at least be the brother-in-law. So that's our advice for this video tonight. And of course, as always, if you have a question for us, we are the CLV experts. We have been doing sales and marketing for so long, and we have lived and operated businesses through other chaoses than just this one. So one of the things that we recognize that was missing in the marketplace are companies that really are dedicated to their customers, really looked at customer lifetime value and figured out how they can engage and nurture customers for life. So we built a company around it. It's called Kitchen Traffic. So Kelly and I, our entire days are spent helping businesses just like yours figure out how to engage, nurture, provide great customer experience so that you can have customers for life. Anything else you want to add, Kelly?
And I think that in a timely sense, beyond just what Scott said, because we've lived and breathed that this is our philosophy. But the thing right now, I want to just keep hitting home with everyone is have empathy is a big one. I think a lot of times we're running into people that are maybe their gripes are kind of not so like, on your grand scheme of things, it's like, really? That's what you're having a problem with? And you feel like your world is crumbling. Listen, we're all in this together. Just extend empathy, and that will go a long way. A listening ear. And a great customer experience person shared this the other day, extend grace. Yeah. And I think that's a huge one. This is not about you. It's about your customers and building trust during this time.
Yeah, perfect way to end it. I couldn't say it better myself. So guys, as always, hit us up. I'm Scott at kitchentraffic.com. Kelly is kfox at kitchentraffic.com. You have questions, comments, complaints. We want to hear them all. And we've got another video coming out for you in the next couple of days. But in the meantime, stay strong. Do all you can to serve your customers, and they will serve you. So we will see you on our next video.